At times in our life, we are going to be put into the unfortunate position where we're going to have to grieve living people. That means we are going to have this love in our heart, this compassion in our soul, and yet we aren't going to have a place to put it. For a number of certain reasons, we aren't going to have anything to do with it. Maybe we broke up with the person, or maybe life had its course and we moved on. It's hard to be expected to do that, and it's even harder when we have to sit here knowing that this inevitably is coming, and yet life goes on, where we know that the person we're talking to right now will eventually come to hurt us, not because they're doing it intentionally, but because we have cared about them and loved them so hard that their presence no longer being with us is a tragedy. I know at times in our life we will get caught up with missing people, with grieving people. And I think the only way to combat this grief, if nothing else, if there's no way we can truly get through it, if there's no way we can maintain a life with them, it's to love them even harder. It's to keep them in our hearts and say, I am going to do the hard thing and I'm going to love them and grieve them so much harder on the front end. It's to say that this person will end up hurting me, but I'm going to have compassion for them despite this. It's a tragedy that we are expected to go through our lives with this expectation that the people we meet, we will one day come to grieve. And what's even worse is most of these people we have to grieve are in fact living. That somewhere out there, they are not only surviving, not only existing, but they're thriving. They're laughing at jokes that you aren't telling. They're smiling at faces that are not yours. This is the tragedy of our lives. One of the tragedy of our lives. I think this can be discouraging for people. I know that some people will hold others at an arm's length so that way they can never get in, so that way when it's time for them to leave, it's all that less painful. This is not the answer. The answer is to do the hard thing, which is to let that person fully and wholly envelop our heart, for them to truly know us, and then for the two of you to go your separate ways. And that's very hard. That's something I'm going to have to do. That's something you're going to have to do. And that's unfortunate. I think as people, we are expected to do this. And I think if people understood the reverence of the people in our lives, then we would be a lot kinder. We would be a lot more just, a lot happier even, if we understood that one day this person in my life will leave. I know the title of this video is something along the lines of how to grieve a living person, but I don't necessarily think there's a good way to grieve. I think you just have to let that exist until one day it goes from clutching your heart in its fist to maybe every once in a while tugging at the heartstrings. But I don't think there's any surefire way to get through that emotion of that pain. I don't think there's any strategy you can use. I think the best thing you can do is to just feel and to love. to not hate them. It's easier to hate somebody than it is to grieve them, but we mustn't hate them. We ought to do the hard thing, which is to remain kind and soft and to let things hurt us. I am scared of the day where I have to say goodbye to the people I hold dear. But I would much rather have people to say goodbye to than not. I believe we must remain in this limbo of getting ourselves hurt, but also having the people around us heal us. I think the only way to grieve a living person is to simply love them.